Welcome to this week's Sister Scoop. Let's get right into the Marvel news because there's some good ones here. The first being is we know when Daredevil Born Again is finally coming.
Yes, mark your calendars, March 4th. I didn't actually look what day of the week that is. That would have been helpful, but whatever. Either
True.
way, I was just very excited because it is literally like 3 weeks before my birthday. So, early birthday gift to me. We knew it was going to be March, but it's really nice to have that full on timing. I do think it's a little interesting. It is literally 2.5 weeks after they're releasing the new Captain America movie. But then again, if it's running, I think they said 9 episodes. So if it's running 9 episodes, it's literally like the 9 or so weeks, depending on if they like double up, right in between Captain America and Thunderbolt. So we are going to have a very busy first half of next year for new Marvel content, which is super, super exciting.
And just for us, I'm going to be like, yay, because sometimes we struggle when there's like long gaps in between things. So to know what's on a calendar is kind of nice. But it is very exciting. We did know it was going to be March. I'm not sure I thought it was going to be the beginning of March, but that's fine. I don't have any feelings one way or the other. I'm excited. I have started the Defenders universe. I'm almost done with the first season of Daredevil. I need to speed this up a little bit. I'm aware.
A lot of it.
I know, especially because I am going to watch it in order. So, like, the third season of Daredevil falls very low on that list in order.
Yeah.
But that being said, anybody who's out there and is also trying to do that, you need to begin your Defenders watch. Or if you're really not trying to do all that work, at least watch Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 because it's confirmed. We've talked about this already. This is a continuation. We are picking back up where we left off because obviously he's been in some other properties since in the MCU. So make sure you guys are getting ready for that. That date is now a due date, my people. Okay. We need to have our homework done.
Yes, and I will just put a plug. I would go ahead and watch all of the Defenders universe as someone who's seen it all and watched it all. This third season of Daredevil is directly a ramification of the Defenders crossover. So even if you watch nothing of any of the other characters after the Defenders crossover, you kind of should watch everything up until that point because what happens to him in that mini series does then the third season picks up from there. I will also say, knowing that John Bernthal's Punisher is in it, definitely make sure you're watching Punisher's season 1 and 2. He is introed, of course, in I believe Daredevil season 2, and then he goes on to have, I think it's 2 seasons of his own show. It is 2 seasons. I highly enjoyed that show as well. I think he's a fantastic casting for that character, and I'm glad to see he's back, but definitely want to make sure that you're seeing that because these characters have history together, and I'm sure that's going to be something that they're playing off of in this upcoming season.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like you said, that's a great thing. If you have the time, go watch all of it. That's my attempt as well. And this is not an Agents of Shield moment where we all prepared because Marvel said, "Hey, maybe." No, we need to see this, okay? You need to go and watch again, at least Daredevil seasons 1 through 3, but if you can, the entire Defenders universe. But moving on to our next topic, Spider-Man 4 exists. The script.
Yes,
it's there.
The script is out there. Our current Spider-Man himself of 616, Tom Holland, has seen it. He is into it. He likes it. He's a fan. And he thinks it's a good foundation. I'm putting words in his mouth a little bit, but it sounds like he's saying it's a good foundation for what is going to be a really exciting Spider-Man 4. I personally, y'all know, we have been very excited but cautiously optimistic, knowing it's a new director, kind of maybe sort of a new direction for the character after everything that happened in No Way Home. But knowing that it has Tom's, stamp of approval gives me a lot of confidence because he came into this whole process basically saying, I don't want to make a movie to make a movie. It needs to be right for the character. And he's kind of become this, like, for lack of a better term, based on our last conversation, defender of the character and making sure that he's being a really good steward of the storytelling around Peter Parker. And so knowing that he feels good about it, apparently Zendaya also really liked it. That just gives me, a lot less nerves when it comes to how they're going to bring this to life and hopefully continue the story of this character in a really meaningful and hopefully new way.
I think you touched on like the big point there, which is Tom wants a good script. And I think we're actually even seeing this mirrored as well with Elizabeth Olsen on her side with the Scarlet Witch. She's like, I will always come back, but my character needs a good story. And also
Yeah.
she's digging at the fact that MOM happened. But not to get
We
into
love
that.
it. Throw the
Yeah.
shade, Lizzie. Throw it.
No, for real. Like, honest, she was like, maybe do your homework before you write my character. But that's all I'm going to say. I think when you have people like Tom and Elizabeth and, even Sebastian Stan, some of these people who have been in the MCU now for a really long, they are our elders at this point for the rest of the MCU cast. I mean, I know it's crazy to say about Tom, but he's been here since 2016, 2015, if you count filming and everything.
Yeah.
He's invested his time. And so I actually listened to a good portion of the interview he was talking about all this with. And he actually was saying, he earned this ability to kind of be able to say no and to kind of say, I want something better. And I think he has. I mean, as a fan,
Yeah.
he definitely has. He's done an amazing job playing the role he's played. And so if he wants to come back and it's worthwhile, or if they want him back, they have to make it worthwhile. Maybe we should say it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it all goes back to him feeling a sense of, here you go, responsibility towards the character because he too is such a fan. And knowing that he gets this opportunity to bring the character to life, I think he's viewing it not only from an artistic standpoint as the actor who's going to be the face of this film, but also as a Spider-Man fan who wants to just see the character written and explored and evolved in a meaningful way. And I love that he comes at it from kind of both of those perspectives because it makes the fans or the fan experience that much better knowing that he's keeping us in mind and not just making a movie for the paycheck or making the movie just to make it. He wants to make something meaningful, something that is as good or better than No Way Home, which, I mean, come on, guys. We are all considering that one of the best comic book movies of all time, I think is not an over-exaggeration to say, but he wants that caliber of film again. And I really appreciate, his commitment to quality for this character because it makes me feel really good knowing that someone who cares that much is the face of the character.
For sure. I don't disagree. And so I think Spidey is in good hands. I'm hoping we get
100%.
something really good with Spider-Man 4. But we'll move on to our last topic so we don't run out of time for it because we could talk about Spider-Man 4 for probably ever, especially with Taylor here. So
yeah, true.
Our last topic, could we be getting Jenna Ortega back in the MCU? Now, slight off for people who don't remember. She's in Iron Man 3, I want to say. I mean, let's just point out the obvious. She's probably 8 in the movie.
Yeah.
If you aren't really paying attention, I'm not gonna lie, I had to Google it. Couldn't remember who she was in the movie. I think if she's in now as, what is she? I think she's my age, like 23 years old, maybe a little younger. I don't think it would affect anything. So I'd be down to have her come join the MCU a second time and play somebody a little bit more prominent.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. In that scene, and if you guys are not 100% placing her, no shade, because truly she is in the scene in Iron Man 3 for probably 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's the exact scene where they are revealing that the vice president is behind everything with the extremis, and they show her in a wheelchair. I believe she's missing a limb, and that was kind of showing his motivation for why he was backing, the extremis research because he wanted to do it for his daughter. Well, she plays that daughter. She's literally in for, I think, just that reveal scene.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't even know that she utters a single word in the entire movie. So, yes, it was like 15 years ago. She doesn't have a speaking line. She is not a prominent character. She's prominent in that she's motivation, but she does not have, a lot of screen time at all. So I 100% am like, yeah, that is totally A-okay by me. I mean, we have other people who are, full grown adults playing two different characters because they were, in makeup or not in makeup. I'm looking at Gemma Chan. So there are ways around having people in multiple roles if you're able to distinguish them, far enough. And I think this is a no problem for me. She's also a fantastic actress. She's really come into her own in the last few years. I would love to see her. Honestly, I think she would do really well in like the witchy realm that we're exploring heavily now.
True.
If you think about a lot of what her filmography has been lately, that is very much her vibe. She and Aubrey Plaza are we all know, very similar people. And I feel like that could be a super interesting, not necessarily just those two, but like that could be an interesting realm for her to explore. Or she could do something completely different and really show off her range. But I love it. I think she's a great actress and I would love to see her, part of the universe.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that sentiment. I would actually kind of like to see her do something a little different. I won't lie. I am a big Tim Burton fan. Some of my favorite things that exist in this world have been created by him. But as much as I love her being the next generation of Tim Burton actors and actresses that he just puts in absolutely everything, I kind of want to see her step out of that like very Tim Burton-esque role. And I think, yeah, she could fit very easily in this witch kind of era, but it would be interesting to see her do something completely elsewhere. She has done some
Totally.
other things. I can't think of some of them off the top of my head, the name of them themselves, but one of them I believe is about a school shooter and has Maddie Ziegler in it. And I can't think of the name of it, but she has done some other things that I feel like she's shown some of her other range. Obviously, I also think she was on like Disney Channel. So she has the ability to act across the board, and I know that. So I'd like to see a little bit of a branching out. Keep your Tim Burton stuff with Tim Burton. Go differently in the MCU. That's my preference. But it would be really awesome to see her join. She is a big name, big up and coming actress. So it would be pretty cool. But that has been this week's Sister Scoop. Join us next week for another round of Marvel news. And of course, make sure you guys are listening to the podcast as we are still covering for only a few more weeks Agatha All Along. See you guys next week.